Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today I want to talk to you guys about a line in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 14, which we had a moment in the chapter where it became clear that everyone's favorite clone of Jiraiya, Kashin Koji himself, might be in danger in the upcoming chapter, or rather chapters ahead that are gonna come in our way in just a bit, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I wanted to lay out why I think it's time for that serious discussion as to why there's a potentially bigger impact at play here than we might have anticipated, and why Kashin Koji and Boruto might have made a mistake. So jumping right into it, I think most of us would agree that the fact that Kashin Koji is kept alive following the Ishiki battle, it was a sign that there was more being set up for him in the future. It's one thing to say that he was being kept alive to eventually confront Amato, and for years that was the belief in the community because Ishiki's assumption he made when Kashin Koji suddenly vanished. It's something that I myself cling to for a couple of years before finally moving into the camp of, I don't care if we don't see the body, that boy, he died off screen. But now we have a real reason for why he was kept alive. It seems Ishiki's words were only a misdirect to make us pay attention to something on the figurative left when the truth was on the figurative right the entire time, staring us right at our blind side. It's easy to jump to the conclusion that Koji was only kept alive purely to train Boruto, and to a degree that's not the wrong stance to take. However, there's more to it than that. Koji was also kept alive for the purpose of both protecting Boruto, training Boruto, but also preparing for Boruto for the apocalypse that was coming, telling him that in damn near every possible future that he saw, he sees them fail in their attempts, but there are only a few possible futures available to them where their plan succeeds. Koji's destiny, it is clearly a bigger one, but based on the reaction in the chapter when Boruto got captured, this was an outcome that he either did not see coming, or it was one he was hoping would not come to pass. Kashin Koji isn't just limited to being Boruto's Jiraiya, Boruto's Morpheus, so much as I think he's got a hybrid role of those characters coming in for something even larger at play, and it's only for that reason I think our conversation needs to be that he might be in danger right now. To Kashin Koji's credit, which we gotta give the guy credit, he did a good ass job of staying hidden for as long as he did, to a point I think it's underappreciated, especially when you factor in the fact that this guy was laid up with the most wanted man on earth right now who everyone wants dead. So the idea that Kashin Koji went this long without anyone snooping around for him is a very remarkable thing. But now the blood, it is in the water, and we have some very real concerns that need to be addressed right now. For starters, now that Kashin Koji is in possession of Boruto, he's in the situation right now where he has to have his alerts raised to all-time high levels right now. If this were Metal Gear Solid, my favorite video game franchise, and one you see me playing Q&As and community response videos, when I'm not playing the Storm games or Shinobi Strikers or Naruto Ultimate Ninja, throwing the game titles out there because some of you guys have asked, he's basically gone from the standard infiltration mode where there's no need to worry about being found because you are perfectly hidden, which is where he was when he was hidden inside of one of Orochimaru's hideouts, where he's cloaked in genjutsu and hid the whole place in genjutsu, to now he is on noise mode, which is where the enemies, they are aware of a potential threat and they are being more cautious now. That moment was crossed when Boruto returned to Konoha at the exact moment in time when Code was attacked, and we had everyone from the Sensei unit to Shikamaru to Kawaki scrambling in result and reacting to the sudden change of events. It was in that moment that Kawaki began to suspect and even began getting cautious that there was someone else helping Boruto, because even Kawaki understood that while Boruto is a prodigy, even someone as skilled as him couldn't be hiding in plain sight that close to the village where he could react in time to when Code invaded and get that deep into the village, not without Kawaki being aware of it, or at the very least the Sensei unit who was actively looking for Boruto being made aware of it either. When Boruto got captured by Konoha and he got the handcuffs that were placed onto him, Kashin Koji, he entered into alert mode, which is that moment where the enemy either directly spots Solid Snake or they try to catch him on camera. At that point, the enemy knows without a shadow of a doubt that there is a target nearby or in the area that they need to be on the alert, actively looking for them. It's eliminate on sight, and that was the moment that Kashin Koji entered into when Kawaki was the one who discovered that Kashin Koji's toads, they were on Boruto's body. Kawaki is able to freely speak about what it was he saw because, as a reminder, since when I brought this up in the review, I saw people raising objections to it. Oh my god, how could you say that? That makes no sense. As a reminder, Kawaki can say what he found and not have anyone look at him with the side eye. It's not because omnipotence. That does not affect someone suspecting Kawaki not being Naruto's son. That's irrelevant. And them going, wait a second, how would you know about Kashin Koji's toads? That's irrelevant. It's actually the exact opposite. It's one of the covers that he would get. It's because in everyone's mind, they believe Kawaki's Naruto's kid. They will believe what he's saying when he says that he found that toad, and people will take it to heart for this reason. There's precedent for it. Naruto's son has had interactions with Kashin Koji in the past. Kashin Koji was the one who interacted with them when they first met Kawaki. The members of Team 7 saw Kashin Koji fight Konoha, place a toad on his body, and use said toad to light his entire body on fire. Naruto's son is also someone who was in the room when Amado received the transmission for Kashin Koji. And even if Naruto's son was not there in the room, say Boruto was in the hospital when that happened, theoretically, which he wasn't, but we'll just take him out the room for this example. Kawaki, the adopted son of Naruto, was there. So in their minds, they're thinking Boruto was there when Amado explained to everyone that Kashin Koji uses toads. So there isn't really a reason for people to raise eyebrows or concern that Kawaki would be pointing this out when he found Kashin Koji's toads. Go reread chapters, I believe 44, 45, and 46, somewhere in that 3-chapter time span, and you'll see what I mean about the whole toad thing. Now, this also puts Kashin Koji on that dreaded phase, which is the evasion mode from Metal Gear Solid, which, as it sounds, you're now running to put distance between yourself and the enemies so you can find a safe spot to hide until things cool down to begin moving around again. The knowledge that Kashin Koji is working with Boruto, it is enough to have Ada begin to start looking for him, which is already a problem just given how overpowered her eyes are, which, barring learning her eyes can't see through Genjutsu, she should be able to see his location, but that's going to be the least of his worries. He's also someone who has the awakened Shinjuu he has to worry about. We learned that Matsuri was out there looking for Kashin Koji because the Shinjuu, for reasons we don't know, suspected that Boruto had someone helping him. Even before Jura learned that Boruto knew about the Thorn Souls, the fact that Matsuri was already specifically out there looking for Kashin Koji, it means that they gained some kind of intel in that brief moment that they clashed with Boruto in the Ten Tails dimension, to a point that they believe Boruto had a co-conspirator. They might not know it's Koji, but they know, hey, wait a second, someone's helping him. Perhaps one of them spotted the toad that was speaking to Boruto. It's possible. That would explain why Jura felt so confident that they would still be able to track down Boruto despite him running away, telling him it's pointless to hide because they would be able to find him. And just taking a step further, it's not by mistake that as he's seeing this, you're literally seeing the tree where Sasuke has been stuck inside of. When it comes to manga paneling like that, that is done very specifically. That's not by mistake. And I think this is where Boruto might have made his mistake. I think it's as simple as Boruto made the mistake of returning to the tree where Sasuke is trapped inside of. I definitely think that's very well the case, just because of the few clues that we have. Matsuri says in chapter 5 that she could feel the hatred of the Ina Shikacho trio in Konoha, which is why she chose to settle on Konoha for a target as someone she wanted to devour. Where did those members happen to be when they expressed their anger and their hatred for Moegi's situation? They were literally right next to the tree. If I'm not mistaken, Konoha was even touching the tree. Probably the first time that man even touched a woman's body, and I don't even think that counts. And don't even get me started when it comes to things like consent. Jesus Christ. We were told that the trees take chakra from those who are stuck inside it. If there is some kind of chakra mumbo jumbo connection there to the trees themselves, and we have to ask again, is this that chakra mumbo jumbo factor? Because chakra connects people. Could this have been a way that allowed them to reverse track Boruto to get a read on his location? I think this might very well be the case when you think about it. We know Boruto and Sasuke, just based on the landscape, they seem to have been fighting in the land of fire. When Ko ultimately defeated them, they would have likely been somewhere close to the border between the land of fire and the land of wind, in my opinion, just because they had to have been somewhere close enough for Kashin Koji to meet Boruto at that tree so soon after the battle ended. Boruto isn't exactly going to go teleport to their hideout, grab Kashin Koji, get a box of tissues, then teleport back to that tree so he can be joined by someone in Kashin Koji while he's mourning failing Sasuke for the 100th time, particularly when he knows Kashin Koji isn't the type of guy to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Boruto. Better luck next time. Things are going to work out." Kashin Koji told him the exact opposite. "Hey, I'm not going to feel sorry for you, fam. I already told you this wasn't going to work." So it would be pointless for him to do something like that. Now, if that does end up being the case, that they could reverse track Boruto using that tree that he was at when Boruto is knee deep in his feelings, and just given Boruto's proximity to it, then that makes perfect sense that they would be able to start looking for Kashin Koji, and here's why. We're going to use a real world example to explain how they could have potentially started tracking him down so quickly. So say you have a theoretical fugitive. So Kashin Koji would be the fugitive in this example. He's on the run and he has no cellular devices that you can use to start pinging off of towers to hunt down the location, and they have no other electronic markers that you can use. So how exactly do you find him? He doesn't exactly have an iPhone that says, "Where's my iPhone?" and you track him that way. So you pull out a map of the area, you draw a circle, or you stick a pin in the last known location. You establish parameters, and you start searching within set parameters using logistical probability to track down your target's likely path of escape from most likely to least likely, and you tighten the search net as you follow the leads. And if you exhaust all the leads that are within that search net, depending on how much time has passed, it's the same thing here. You start expanding the map. If they knew to start at that tree in particular, it becomes a matter of narrowing down the location based on whatever method of calculation that they use. Again, it largely depends on them being able to sense Boruto's chakra near that tree. Boruto being someone who they're all connected to since he is Sasuke, and they're seeking to devour him. They have identified him as the one that they want, so it kind of makes sense that they would have a connection and start tracking just based on Jura's statement to Boruto that it was pointless to run, and that goes up even higher if, again, Boruto being leaned up on that tree, crying and sobbing and acting like a little whiny bitch. I know he wasn't crying and sobbing, but you get the point. That is something that does make you wonder. With there now being a new Shinjuu being created, if we do learn said Shinjuu is Shinki, it means they were in the land of wind somewhere, which means they're dangerously close to where Kashin Koji was hiding out. And with Ada now potentially knowing where Kashin Koji is, it means Koji might have to start moving out into the open, and with the Shinjuu tracking him, I do think he's in for a rough road ahead depending on how things begin to start falling out, which explains why Kashin Koji told Boruto in most of the scenarios that he saw, they failed in their mission, which means the odds of success, they are lower than the odds that you'll enjoy this video from my Anime Explained channel on the left, or this Naruto Explained video that YouTube has personally selected for you to watch. So click on that now.